Okay, so I did a little bit of preparation on this. Don't hold against me. It's my first time presenting something since 8th grade. So I'll be reading for most of the time because my ADHD won't allow me to, go back and forth without reading it. And I want to make sure we have time to discuss for questions. And so for the most time, I'm going to be reading. So basically, I would start saying my name. So I'm JoJo, and I would like to start this discussion saying thank you all for the effort to be part of this meeting tonight. I also would like to add that we are in a safe space, free of judgment, and as a family, we are more than happy to help. Um, um, if at any point any of you guys need a clarification, questions, feel free to raise your hand and ask away. Like I said, for the most part, I'll be reading from my notes, so I don't get lost. But I will try to be more precise and short as possible. That way, we'll have enough time for questions and discussions. Um, Please feel free to also write down questions and ask later on or as it comes. It's an open discussion. With all that being said, I would like to ask who took notes about the recent decisions and if there was any pattern, like I suggested on July 15th when I came up with this topic. Anyone took any notes?
I did not take notes, but I realized that many patterns. Since you made the question for me, it seems like a lot.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Told to me.
The suggestion was more like a self note. It's not like because when we write things down, we can always go back to it and reflect and but as we'll be talking about making decisions, I would start asking if you guys knows the meaning of discernment. Anyone could tell me what the meaning of discernment? No?
Well, the way I see the word discernment as is kind of the ability to think for yourself. That there's, especially nowadays with social media and stuff like that, it's like kind of other people's ideas floating on in your head. So like you have to have discernment to view these thoughts and then have your own, or pick your own, or think for yourself. That's the way I view the word. I might have it wrong.
No, you are correct. Discernment, it's precisely the ability of separating the core of things, or better, like the essence of things. Because only then you will know what is appropriate and what is not. And for that, we have like 5 principles of discernment. Anyone knows what those 5 principles of discernment would be? Okay. Would be first.
I had no idea we had such a thing.
The first would be self-knowledge, which goes with what Anthony said about discernment. So you're kind of correct on that. Self-knowledge. 2, quit procrastinating. Number 3, prudence. Number 4, alignment with your values. And number 5, setting boundaries.
What is the second?
Huh?
What is the second?
The second is quit procrastinating. Self
And
knowledge,
alignment with what?
self knowledge, quit procrastinating, prudence, alignment with your values, and setting boundaries. Those are the 5 principles of discernment. I can give you guys some example, and we can, if anyone want to ask questions about it, I'm open to answer. Um, about self knowledge, for most part, we are all like we make decision um, based on superficial things. Um, like a superficial person, it's not used to go deeper, to observe deeper what life has to offer. So, and those people, those person, like when we are like that, we're being superficial. Like we look this happy couple on social media. Oh, I want that life. Oh, we see those big houses. Oh, I want that life. This is superficial life. We don't really know what's going on there. Most people will show what they want people to see as. So sometimes we make decisions based on superficial things like that. And we have a very little chance to make the right decision when we make choice based on superficial things. And we all have the bad habit of being superficial at some point, especially when it comes to ourselves, comparing ourselves to others, comparing our job to others, comparing our relationship, everything with others. Like they say, the neighbor's grass is always greener. So we all have that, um, which is one of the first alienations that we bring to ourselves, and that's what generate all others. You know, um, so the lack of basic self knowledge and self control usually bring us a lot of harm. For that we have to be more intelligent. Um, and as the word intelligent, which a lot of people think being intelligent, it's knowing everything, but people are talking about, oh, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. Oh, this guy is super intelligent about that. So intelligent, actually, it's a very interesting word because it comes from the Latin, which is separated in two words, and linked together is the word intelligent. With intelligence, it's composed of inter and eleger. Eleger means to choose, and inter, it's inside. So with the word intelligence comes from sorry, I clicked something here. It comes from choose from. Choose. You have to look in to choose from. And in situation of decision, always going to be multiple possibilities. And the only way to make the best choice is achieving the discernment, which is the greatest of all intelligence, is to choose among all the options the world offers, what is the best one for you, for that moment, for that situation. And the greatest of intelligence is identity. If you don't know yourself, it will be really hard for you to make right decisions. It's like if you tell me, hey, Jojo, I'm going the right way, I can't answer that because first I need to know where you're going. And if you don't know who you are, it's hard to make the right decisions because you're going to be superficial in most of decisions you make. The second one is the procrastination, right? Which is another mistake, like letting time decide things. Who here is someone who is like the last minute decision person, like to make decisions, like make decision at last minute?
I
You are
mean,
not alone on this. Like
something
most
that
of us,
working on for sure.
most of us have the impression of, if we just leave it, if you don't think about it, it just either go away, or it's gonna solve itself, or we will figure it out. Let's go with the flow. And the time will pass, and instead of the problem solving itself, it might bring you to a situation where the decision you make just gonna ruin anything after that, even though it's not necessarily linked to that problem. Because time will not take the best measure. Time will let things randomly roll in whatever direction. And it not always, or most of the time, it won't be the best for you. Procrastination definitely won't solve things. It will just drag the problem. And like procrastination, first of all, it's not even a choice. Procrastination is the abandonment of a choice. When you procrastinate, you are abandoning that situation. So you got to be careful with this complacency of pretending that I'm not seeing that I don't need to make decision, or at least I don't have to do it right now, which is good to take time, as long as you're taking time to meditate, to practice some reflection, how to solve that problem. If you're just putting the problem aside, that's abandonment. And when you abandon your problem, you abandon yourself. And you can't expect someone or a higher power to just come and fix it for you. That won't happen. That will bring a lot of chaos. That will bring a lot of self-doubt. That will make not just the problem bigger, but for your soul, you're going to be like beating the shit out of it. Just with this not doing right now, not solving it right now. The third thing is the prudence. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Plato. I love him. He's one of the greatest philosopher in my point of view. And he have this saying about prudence is a virtue. And also have a lot to do with wisdom. One only can be prudent when we practice reflection. And a good way to do it is through meditation. I found another way to do it, reflection, is listening to what is it called? Jesus. Listen to like instrumental music. Because that way you can pay attention on when each instrument come into that song, that music. No words, just instrument playing. And then you just focus on noticing each time a new instrument come to that song. That's a good way of focusing, practicing the focus. Another way of prudence, it's not making decisions based on strong emotions, passion, hatred, revolt, revenge, whatever it is, whatever it might be. For the most part, our decision is made based on what we want, which can sometimes be a fleeting. We have to be more wise when it comes to what we should do and what we like how we want it to do. We got to stop, reflect, meditate, analyze, and then take actions. So this is not procrastination. That's actually thinking how to solve the problem in the best way, step by step. Because you are thinking, you're taking your time to make that decision, which it can be a big decision, a small decision, a decision will choose the next, it will define the next step of whatever you're doing. Your next meal, your next job, your next vacation. So decision, it's not like small decision, big decision. Any decision, it's part of, you're building your story. You're writing your book. So every decision counts. Being aligned with your values. You got to ensure that your decision aligns with your core values and beliefs, and that it will promote your well-being and the well-being of others. Setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is a very important principle. I'm still working on it. I still fighting every day. Setting boundaries is still very hard for me. Not that the other stuff is not. I pretty much do a little bit of everything that I just mentioned. But boundaries is important because boundary make it clear what we are and what we aren't willing to allow. If we begin to compromise our personal integrity, then others will think that's acceptable to cross that line. And that will make us always question ourselves. So it's very important that we learn who we are, what we like, and we should be taking notes every time a decision has to be made. If you're too happy, maybe not the time. If you're too angry, maybe it's not the time. Let's reflect about it. Let's, think on it, but with a meaningful way of solving that problem. Don't just put the problem aside, expecting it to just disappear. So you guys look very serious. I'll make a joke. One way of doing it, it's also asking someone opinions. That's okay. You don't have to make all decisions based on you. The only thing you got to make sure the person you asking have the same those 5 principles. Otherwise, it's rather you just randomly making the decision. So make sure when you're asking someone opinion, that those 5 principles stick with that person. When I was looking for material for this meeting, I crossed path with this joke that Sadhguru made. And the joke starts like, there was a bull and a peasant, and they were like, they were grazing, and like the bull was like eating the grass, and the peasant was picking, like, take off the bull partnership. And there was a huge, beautiful tree, right? And like right on the edge of the field. And the pheasant, very nostalgically looked at the tree and said, oh, there was a time that I could fly all the way to the top of that tree. But now I can barely like reach the first branch. I no longer have like no strength in my wing to fly that high. But that would be something I miss doing it. And the bull very nonchalantly said, my dear friend, that's very easy to solve. If you eat a little bit of my dung for 3 days, you're gonna reach the top of that tree. Just eat a little bit of my dung. And the pheasant was like, what kind of joke is that? Like, what do you mean? Like, no, it's not a joke. The whole humanity is on it. They are eating dung all the time, and they are going where they want to go. And the peasant, very hesitant, he's like, I might try. Why not? So he started eating the dung. So the first day, he actually achieved the first branch of the tree. And by the third day, he flew all the way to the top of that tree. And when he was there and he started looking around, admiring the landscape, there was a farmer sitting on his rocking chair on the house across of that tree. So he just got his shotgun and he shot the pheasant. So the moral of the story, bullshit can get you to the top, but not always gonna make you stay there. So asking the right person, it's very important. That's all I have for you guys. And remember, the whole humanity is on it. So make sure you know yourself and don't fall for it.
Yeah. A lot of bullshit artists out there. Yeah.
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 It's free and it's free.
Yeah.
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 True.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's all I have. And any questions, any comments? What I did here.
I want to start saying that was great.
I don't know what I
took
did.
lots of notes on that. Yeah.
And at some point, it was like thinking, hell yes, that's the idea of it. Because I'm also learning when you say it that about procrastination, really, like I literally felt a slap.
And we all do, you know.
Yeah, when you say like when you abandoning, like when you procrastinate, you abandoning to opportunity to take a decision. I related to that a lot. Like I really relate a lot to that. And the one thing that came to me about that subject specifically is sometimes we think we're doing good by saying, "Oh, let's see how things gonna go." I remember, like, I have a cousin, for example. Anytime we try to make a plan with him, he would say, "I don't know. I don't know how my day gonna be. I don't know if I will be alive. I don't know." It's just like you can plan anything with the person. And I'm talking about like plans, like going out. But if we do that, I tend to do that in many things. Like I have like 2 or 3 conversations that I have to have. And I'm postponing. And I'm literally running away from those things. And then when you say like, yeah, when you're procrastinating, you're abandoning the opportunity to make a decision. I was like, yep, I am abandoning myself. I'm abandoning the situation. I am abandoning to myself not going to the gym because I am procrastinating to start it. Like, yeah, it's horrible to hear, but it's true. Another thing that I want to comment about, like you say, to ask for the right person. I developed something for myself a few years ago that was to, once I have a problem, I try to not talk to this problem if the person cannot help me. And the way I decide if the person can help me or not is if by my eyes, they made that. Like I will ask romantic advice for a person that on my eyes they are not successful in relationships. For example, one day I had a total loss in my car. In the middle of the calls, I stopped and I said, and I think who I could call that really could help me. Instead of just everyone like crying out. So I made one call, and the person got the phone of the person that would have my car sent to this person's garage, for example. So I developed that. So I resonate when you say like to think about like who you're going to ask for opinion. Like if you want to get to the top of the tree.
And we gotta remember that, like, when we are asking for whatever favor, or we just want to talk about something with someone, we gotta remember that 50% of people don't care what's going on with you. 20% of people, it's trying to solve their own problem, so they don't have time for you. And maybe 20% is happy that it's happened to you and not to them. So you might have like 10% left that are gonna really help you. So what do? Go through your phone, like the contacts on your phone. From all the numbers you have, who is your 10%? Those 10% who gonna call anytime, at any day, that pick up the phone, that's the 10% you should care about it. Stick with.
Yeah, I was gonna say, excuse me, that procrastinating can kind of, make you complacent. Like you get set in your ways. It dulls your life. You wake up, you just get in this, vicious cycle of not challenging yourself, bringing up something new. You just keep kicking it down the road. Like I've been saying with these talks with meditation, I know we brought that up. I've been procrastinating on meditating, and I keep repeating myself. So I'm guilty of that one. But yeah, it's really, I think, challenging yourself. Wake up. I'm going to do something new today, and starting a new cycle, and it be very mentally healthy, physically healthy. Just getting out of old habits and cycles. I think is very, very helpful, and I'm definitely somebody that needs to do that. So, thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah, welcome.
Could you just repeat the Plato quote, please?
Is
The
prudence,
what?
the prudence was it?
Prudence.
Or Plato, yeah.
Prudence is yellow. Yeah, I have all the colorful notes. Everything's colorful. Prudence note.
I think that's what Plato was on.
Where's the yellow?
All right, well, I'll go. I think that was great, JoJo. I would have thought you would do that all the time. And, the reason I probably look so serious-faced is because I think I'm analyzing all the trouble I have in making decisions and going through that, which is pretty common. But I think I immediately thought of, my older self back in my drinking days, where I made like lots and lots of wrong decisions. All my values and my knowledge of myself, procrastination, all of that was, obviously worse and way out of alignment in those days. But, since the spiritual work and getting to know myself, trying to better myself, trusting myself, loving myself, I've realized how I've made much better decisions, over the last, few years, decade or whatever. But I think some of that still lingers on, like these fears because of, bad decisions that I've made before, or I realized that was not the right thing to do, and there's consequences for that. So even though I'm doing so much better now, it's like, I still kind of get stuck in duality, like do it or don't do it, like sometimes right up into the end. It's even my truck I just, I got a year ago. I really waited a long time to trust myself that I could, handle that. And I was like, because of all my years of, messing things up. And, but I did it, and it's working out. It's really good. I think this is really great insights on these, on these principles to, who you talk to about stuff, what their values are, what their opinion is. Because if it's not in line with that, then you're just eating shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I love that I'm continuing to learn and be better, and this is good stuff. Thank you.
Something that's really helped me with discernment is making the difference between, so if we're emotionally triggered or something is going on with us, to understand whether it's coming from this moment, what's happening right now, or if this is something that's because of my history. And then if I have that awareness, then I have a lot more information on how to move forward in that situation.
And for the most part, things that usually trigger us, it's sometimes not even from our living. It's from our ancestries, things that we carry along on, So it's very important for you to sit down and like, is that my feelings? Is that something I'm creating? Is that something that I'm carrying along from someone else? Where this is coming from? It's very important to know you. And I think I mentioned before about being a very angry person, and that's how I solve problems. It would be like being angry, and then I realized I was like, every time I get angry or I get triggered too easily, I lose the battle. People won't even listen to me because I'm yelling it. And when you're screaming and when you're yelling and you're breaking things, if you're just passing by and I'm yelling and crying, like breaking things around, what are you going to think? This person's crazy. And if I come to, let me tell you something, let me give you a advice. No, thank you. So that's something we have to pay attention and how we react. I still dealing with that. It's very hard for me sometimes, but I at least now I can realize, I was like, I'm being extra right now. So I'm having the control of noticing them being extra, but not all the time I stop being extra. I just know them being extra, but I still, going there.
Your self-knowledge is increasing. You're knowing yourself more and more as you.
Yeah, especially because you yell at me all the time. So
wow.
No, just
But
kidding.
as the last meeting we had, we talked about like the steps of healing or evolving, and one step is to recognize that's happening when it's happening.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we're gonna be able to do different, but at least we recognize now.
Yeah. And about prudence, what you asked again, or Anthony?
I missed the quote by Plato.
The Plato quote.
Yeah.
He once said, "Prudence is a virtue, and it also have a lot to do with wisdom."
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you go over, I guess, the alignment with values? I don't know if there's a little bit more. Maybe you skipped over that.
Alignment of values.
Values. Yeah, I know you covered it briefly, but
the alignment of values. It's you got to make sure that your decision aligns with your core values. Your essence. So everything has to be aligned with what you believe, and your belief had to be aligned with the core, the sense of the problem you have in, as an example, or and you got to make sure that alignment will promote your well-being and the well-being of others. Sometimes decision, like when you have to make a decision, even is to buy something. If you buy something and you make the decision of buying something, and after you realize that, I didn't really need this, so you're gonna be sad after that decision. but whoever sold that, I make a good sell.
Mhm.
So being aligned with what you want, what you need, and the value of it, the core of value, it's very important.
Yeah.
You know?
I like
And
that.
something about that.
So stay off Amazon. No, no.
Yeah. Like even the Amazon, like
Yeah.
not back in the days, we would produce so like little trash. Now we receive like those extravagant huge bag with like a box with a little bag inside.
Hmm.
Like, and look all the trash we produce in a whole week. Everything from things you buy in the street, from the things that get delivered to you. Just try putting like 4 days of all the trash you make in the corner of your house and realize how much unnecessary things we produce, like buying it, like collecting when we see things around, and gifting ourselves things that we don't need. It's just ridiculous how superficial is our thoughts for the most of the time. So how disaligned we are from ourselves.
Yeah, there's that giant island of of plastic in the Pacific Ocean. I think they say it's the size of Puerto Rico. So that everybody's just throwing, they're part of waste in that one collective area. Yeah.
And that is, we're producing so much trash, we're not thinking about others. And the others I'm talking about, it's not necessarily just human beings. It's the nature, it's the planet, it's the whole universe. Like, if all the bees die, we're gone in less than a year. Just if the bees like just disappear in less than a year, the whole universe is gone. But if us humans die, the whole universe will flourish.
Yeah. Very delicate.
It will just be like, they can't wait for us to just go, because they do need to flourish.
Yeah, we take it for granted. I think we don't realize how fragile and life really is. And yeah.
Yeah.
And then
What's
Mila was about to
fragile?
say something and I cut her off.
No worries. We all learning. This is for us. About the topic before, being in alignment with your values, there's something that I heard like coach saying in the past, and I never could make it by myself. But then one day I brought that to be done during ayahuasca, and that was very nice exercise. This coach say to draw a star with either 5 or 6 points. It's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And in each point of the stars, you're gonna write something that really matters to you, like loyalty, consistency. Like, doesn't matter what you're gonna come up with, and that becomes your star guide. Like, every decision you're gonna make you're gonna check on the star. Like, is it in alignment with the things that I want? Like, it is in alignment with my values. So I had a lot of trouble doing this exercise and I couldn't make it until one day I brought that to ayahuasca and I created my own the journey. Like, I wrote the six things based like on ayahuasca. And anytime I don't know how to make a decision, I don't know if I'm taking the right decision, I sit with my star and I check if it goes in the direction or against the values that I put there. So it's just a way to make it more practical. And if it's hard for you as well, we can do it in our next ceremony.
Yep. That would be awesome. I'm down.
To draw on our star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's how I feel like I found so much happiness and joy in my life right now, is just by focusing on what it is I want, my North Star, keeping my eyes on that, and then having a relationship with myself where I'm constantly checking in to my heart, to, you know, to my values, and making sure that all of my decisions are in alignment with that, and really paying attention to consequence, you know, being really aware of consequence.
Mhm.
And one word that Mila mentioned that it's also very important is like the consistency. Consistency, it's like it's very important in any decision you make. Because if you think through, you can only fuck up things in life. You are being consistent on fucking things up. So to fix things, you also got to be consistent. So those 5 principles, you got to be consistent on that. You got to make sure you're checking yourself all the time, going back to it all the time, because consistency, it's what gonna make things really change when it comes to, you know, self-knowledge. You cannot just who you are. I'm Jojo, I live in Framingham, this and that, and stop there. No, what Jojo likes, what Jojo think it's valuable, what is Jojo values, what is, you gotta understand, you gotta get to know yourself. And we got to remember that we are human beings and we are evolving. So, I eat this food because when I was a kid, that's all I would eat. So, but you're no longer a kid. You've been a kid and then you grew out of that. Although a lot of traumas will carry along the way with you, but that is also something that you can also cure when you take care of your inner child, right? But you cannot be like imprudent like a child as an adult. With that, you got to be consistent and learning more about yourself, discovering things, food, music, taste, and everything. It is a consistency of improvement. You got to do the work. You cannot just read one page of a book, listen to some audiobooks, show up on a meeting every other week here and we share, and then never touch the books again, or never go back to whatever you wrote down today. All the questions you have, you didn't got the chance to ask, or the answer didn't came out to you, and you're not gonna do your research afterwards. You're just okay sitting there and it's fine, I'll figure it out. So consistency is important. And the same way that you gotta be consistent in fucking things up, you gotta be consistent in fixing it and doing the work.
Yeah.
One of my biggest things with the early years of, ayahuasca, 5-MeO, is like, I think I always had a sense of what my ego was, but the medicine really kind of showed me the difference. I just really got a lot of good insights out of that. Like, my values changed. What I thought was important changed. It's everything I was conditioned to think as I grew up. I had to unlearn that. So being able to kind of discern between my ego and my soul, I tend to reflect on that a lot. Where I may want something, for me, but I will choose, the greater good, more long-term kind of decisions. So it's something I think I've learned, in the medicine, really.
Yeah. It's very important that you really find your way of better yourself. It can either be like, some people, they work so hard, they don't even take the time for a vacation. Oh, that's too much money, I can't do this. But then they go to Amazon from like $10, $5, $20. Oh, you have 50% off. Through the year, they wasted like 3-4 vacation in a nice place. And they're just home, miserable, seeing people doing things, living life. And then they start being greedy. How come that person can do that and I can't? I make more money than that person. And that comes the comparison, and you don't look into like the things you're wasting your money on it, your energy on it, that it's not bringing any value to you. It's not bringing any, any positivity. And then sometimes when we go to the medicine, we are not even open-hearted and open-minded to understand. And we get what we call in Portuguese a peia, and then we hate it. I got called out, but your mama called me out on this, so I'm never doing it again. But the reason you got to the point of getting a peia, it's because you having been ignoring your decisions making. You've been ignoring your problems. You've been ignoring your self-development. You've been ignoring all the chances you have to write your own story as best as you can. So for me particularly, I still very amused, like this weekend, my experience with mushrooms and ayahuasca with rapé, it was mind-blowing. I usually not functional, and this weekend it seems like simple, but I was able to keep the fire going. In the end, I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, I could keep the fire going all night long. But I was scared because I saw the snake like, go get the fire, keep the fire going on. And every time I would try to ignore, like the serpent would get so close to me. And I was like, oh my god, okay, I'm gonna go get the fire. But in the end, it's just, and every time I would get the fire, like the woods, bring it on, I would sit in my chair and I would just have this sense of gratitude. And that's when I realized that before the ceremony, I set my intentions, and one of the things I asked, because at the ceremony we did at in Casas das Rosas, I realized that I need to love better and serve more. But the serve more, I didn't know how to serve more. I thought was pleasing, which is totally different from serve. So every time I would go get some woods, get the fire going, and sit down on my chair, I had this gratitude, and then this sense, this insight of that is serving. You're serving, your community. You're serving your family right there. It was cold, and we were all in a process of doing something for ourselves. So being able to keep the fire in the end Mama showed me what serving means. It's not pleasing. That's totally different. Because when you please, you expecting something in return. As much as you say no, I was not expecting. But if you please me and I don't say thank you, you get sad. You're gonna get mad. You're gonna get disappointed. Because she didn't even say thank you. So you were waiting for something. So this weekend I realized the difference of serving and pleasing. Completely different. So the medicine helped me evolve on this sense of myself. And this is very important because my whole life I just please people, and I feel defeated in the end. I couldn't understand why. So the medicine definitely, not promoting it. I'm just saying the truth, what happened and how I felt. And like James said, it's very nice when we get to experience that, because we ignore ourselves for so long, and then coming to a realization that there is a way. Although I heard that ayahuasca is for everybody, but not everybody's for ayahuasca. And I'm glad. I think ayahuasca is for me, and I'm for ayahuasca. That's definitely a path that I wish I could just promote it, like have a sign. You should try it, but You know, I know it had
Not
to
for
come
everybody.
when the times is
Yeah.
right, but I wish I could just, you know, but it will come to whoever has to come whenever they're ready for it, like it did for me and for us.
Can I just share a thought here? So when you guys brought up the word consistency, and then just tying it into number 4, aligning with your values.
Mhm.
I think that's very important because it's kind of like if you need to manifest things into your life, right? So you're going to manifest things, but if you're constantly changing your core values and you're not consistent with them, then you're telling the universe all these different things. So it doesn't know what to even give you, you know. So you need to also be consistent with aligning your values. Don't always be changing your values. Like, obviously we're going to grow and change, but I just mean people who are kind of like zigzag a lot, you know, like constantly changing your core values. Like once you find your values and you know that's you, stick to them.
Stick
And
with it, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, the universe will bring to you, even if you change. It's just gonna be a random thing,
yeah,
not something
exactly.
you
And
want.
it might not be what you wanted.
You know what you want or need it. It's just gonna be a random choice.
Were you going to say something, Ali? I thought I heard something.
No, I like that core values and like what she was saying. It's like a point that you're always in alignment with, But sometimes the sea is rough, So it's like sometimes there's storms and it's not such an easy thing, that challenges you. But it's like I call it like staying the course. It's like no matter what happens, the wind might blow me to the left or the right, or the waves might be crazy that day. But I'm still staying true to my values. It's like nothing's going to shake me from that. Yeah. So it's like it's just a feeling I have, like peaks and valleys, so we're learning this stuff, but we have things that come in, randomly without expecting it, that can challenge you, can challenge your emotions, can challenge your triggers, and I guess time and time again of staying true to that, your values. That's how you learn with experience, to be better. What do they say? A smooth sea never made a skillful sailor, right? So there's always things trying to throw you off your track and your values and test you and change you. That's just life. But, I wouldn't say I'm an expert and never will be, but I'm doing way better than I was, a decade ago. So it's awesome work that we do.
Yeah. And a good way to don't put your boat on the water before checking the weather. It's a good way to not be in a shaky boat.
Yeah,
And
that's a good.
picking your battles wisely. That's what is the meditation would help, the decision.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to add a little bit about the values thing, if I could. I actually this year before prepping up for the new year this year, I did with a group. I did like value setting, almost like we did some work for a few weeks together in setting what our core values are. And I would just like if it's something somebody here hasn't sat down to think about, like I would encourage that of like what are the values that you want to ultimately be underlying all of your goals, right? So instead of setting goals that a lot of times can come from the mind, if you know the values under it, you can then almost like cross-check your goals with them as they come up and see if they keep that, for me, some of the words were like sustainability and integrity, and then seeing if they drive back to that has been helping me to see where I'm placing my energy and focus, right? Just a compliment and reinforcing how strong that piece with the values is. Like, it really does give you a whole different way to like north yourself on where you're going. That is pretty cool.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
that. I would put that as a way of checking your weather before putting your boat in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
was
check
gonna
check
add,
to see if it's gonna rain before you go camping.
yeah,
Right?
I did.
And also check if there's a shower.
Oh
If
my
not,
God,
bring your
There
wife.
was a river. There was a river.
they lied to us. They did. They did.
Yeah. I was just gonna add, just going back to the knowing yourself and choosing wisely where to focus your energy, and going back to a lot of people are people pleasers, and we're focusing on other people rather than ourselves, and that doesn't get society ahead. We gotta. It's not a selfish thing. For the longest time, maybe I focused more on others subconsciously, but more and more I said, no, I got to get myself right, physically, mentally, and then I'll be my best self, and that will make everybody else better. So yeah, focus on yourself, get grounded, get confident, and your message to others, and then you can help other people, better, I think. And yeah, thanks for keeping the fire going, Jojo. I appreciate that. That
Always
was,
my
Yeah.
yeah, that was good.
pleasure.
Thank you so much, Jojo, for bringing up the
Welcome.
subject and for bringing up the topics. And
Welcome.
Mhm.
it was amazing. I really like having
Thank you. Thank you.
you talking
Thank you,
a little bit.
Jojo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for the time.
Let's go.
And before I start the meeting, I actually gave away at the retreat. I gave like this little book, and some of this, each book has like a special message. And today I got this one for the meeting today. I don't know if you guys can see what it is.
I
But-
have the power to overcome any challenges I face.
Yeah, so this is the one I got for us today. So we have the power to overcome any challenge we face. So just keep that in mind.
Mine didn't have a message.
Yeah, I got.
No?
No.
Oh,
It's okay.
I'll give you. I'll bring one for you.
I want one.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one.
Yeah, I actually have mine right here. I'm willing to experience abundance, peace, and joy.
Oh,
I did this weekend very much, so that came true. Yeah.
that's nice. See,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Mm.
I'll bring it. Who is gonna be there on Saturday? I can bring them on Saturday. Mila, are you coming, James?
I don't know. Which thing is this?
So myself, Maria, and Guy, we're gonna have a cacao / guided breathing and live music and ecstatic dance.
Oh yeah, I
And
did see that. Yeah. Overtime depending, so it's still open, possibly. Yeah. And
Whoever's coming, just let me know in the group.
Ellie doesn't have Saturday.
I'll bring a little book and in a card.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, people, we're gonna see again in 15 days. Let's put up as like homework to start the star, the guiding stars, to have our core values. And we need to make a list of who are our 10%. Does it make sense, Jojo? Do you want to suggest any other homework? Not listening, you.
Muted.
Maybe we could start also like the past decisions from the 15 to today. Let's just think about it now that we know all the 5 principles. Let's see like what was the past decision we made on this past week that we were not really present. We make the decision based on external things, and see if we knew all these principles, those 5 principles by then, how would that decision would be made?
Great.
If you would still making the same decision or would be, anything different?
Thank you so much, Jojo. That was insightful.
Thank you guys for the
me
time,
know.
for making the effort to be here. It was my pleasure. I was nervous, but
Good job.
you
You
guys,
are amazing.
You did great.
You did great.
you
Very
guys
good.
are.
We love
Thank you.
Who's teaching the next class?
It was
And what is the next class?
We still don't have anything settled. Do you want to do it?
No.
You
He
should do
volunteered-
it.
he
Get
volunteered
out of
himself.
your comfort zone.
Do it.
You do
All
it.
right. What's the topic? Do I
You
pick the
the
topic?
You
Yeah.
can pick.
Yeah.
Do you want to
All right.
pick? Do you want to talk about something like?
If I did it,
really
you
helpful
can do
for
it. You have been in the family for longer than I do, so if I did it, you can do it.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll grab some suggestions in the group or something, of some topics, and then I'll pick one.
Okay.
Cool. Do a vote too. You can do a vote.
Going easy and that is
That's good, Dennis.
That's an internal
Joke.
Inside joke.
Inside joke.
inside joke
Yeah.
because we used to call him Tony cantando, which is like singing. Tony smoking. Tony. Now it's Tony teaching.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I wish you guys all good night. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the effort to be here. Thank you for bringing the 2 cents, as James always say. Thank you very much, and namaste.
Mistake.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah. See you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Much
Yep.
love.
Ciao.